to soften. And as the skin around your eyelids begins to release, either tune into a point of focus that is in front of you, or perhaps close your eyes completely. Taking a moment to just become more aware of the breath. And in that awareness, opening yourself to a deeper breath. Most of the physical practices of yoga that are present in our world originate from what is called hatha. And hatha in Sanskrit means ha, which is sun, and tha, meaning moon. It is the idea of this solar and lunar energy, this divine masculine and feminine energy that reside within us. And typically we use the source of the sun. So whether it's through observing how our plants grow, what dictates day and night through the sunlight. But the yogis, the rishis, the ancient practitioners of yoga, believed that it was lunar energy that facilitated spiritual growth. This was the time to do the self-work. Now, whether you are a practitioner of yoga or not, often you hear that the time around the moon gives a heightened sense of either emotions or experiences coming to your awareness. It's because this is the time where the subconscious mind is most clear. So use this time to observe what's in your subconscious mind and start to slowly unravel those patterns that no longer serve you. Notice any sort of irritability or heightened sense of emotions. And in that awareness, you start to break down that pattern. Whether or not we recognize that we are governed by the elements, and the moon is directly associated with the element of water. So as we have this element that is heightened within us right now due to the full moon, we can use this time to start to harmonize and balance those elements within us so that we can stay more present, so that our thoughts are a little bit more clear. And once again, we can become more connected and grounded. Please take your hands onto your thighs, palms face down to feel that grounding, or palms facing up to perhaps receive or to pull in energy. Take a big breath in through your nose, and sigh it all through the mouth. One more like that, big breath in. Part your lips and clear your lungs. We'll start in child's pose. Either big toes touching and knees out wide, or your thighs together and draping over the legs. As you arrive in the shape of the child, this childlike awareness and innocence, begin to observe where the breath is a little bit less strong and open yourself to the breath in that space. Notice any places of stickiness, of stagnance, and take a moment here to breathe a little more clearly into that space until you feel the point between your shoulder blades start to soften, till you feel the back walls of your ribs melt. And feeling the tailbone, the very base of your spine, get a little heavier towards your heels. Take 2 more very honest breaths here. With your next inhaling breath, come forward to a tabletop position. Land your hands under your shoulders, your knees just slightly behind your hips. And as you inhale, lift the chest, lift the tailbone, gaze up towards the sky. Exhale and round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhaling breath, find length in your spine, feel the belly soften here. And as you exhale, push the ground away from you, really puffing up your mid-back. And start to create a steady rhythm here as you unify your breath with your movement. Till the union becomes so clear that once again you can soften your gaze or maybe even close your eyes. As you start to observe the inner body, the inner landscape, notice what the spine needs this evening to awaken. Now what that means is maybe some more intuitive movements, a rounding of the hips, of the ribs, maybe some more side to side lateral movements, bringing your chin from shoulder to shoulder. And maybe your body is calling still for a few breaths in child's pose. So do as you need. Take 3 more honest breaths here. As you're ready, tuck your toes under, root into your palms, and lift your hips up and back. Find downward facing dog. In your downward dog, pedal your heels, sway your hips, nod your head, yes and no, till your physical self can settle into a shape of stillness. Take a big breath in through your nose, and an honest sigh, let it out. Once again, allow the breath to travel in and out through the nose, creating this ocean-like texture, like the waves as they crash against the shoreline. Gaze between your hands, and like a walking meditation, make your way to the very top of your mat. Feet are parallel and hip-width distance, either a few fingertips to the mat or holding opposite elbow, let your entire upper body drape. Bend into your knees. If a sway from side to side feels intuitive, do so. And as you breathe into the skin between your shoulder blades, the skin melts away from bone. Even more, let your head, let your neck go and surrender to the call of gravity. Please place your palms to your shins. Take a halfway lift. Send your chest forward, your shoulders back. Exhale and bow over your strong legs. Head is heavy. Do that once again. Inhale, lift halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Fold and exhale, Uttanasana. Push into your feet. Press into your feet. Reach up, look up, stretch up, palms touch. Exhale, hands at the center of your heart. Pressing your palms into one another. The symbol of the sun, the moon, Ha and Tha, masculine and feminine, meeting at heart center in hopes to one day work in harmony. As you inhale, reach your arms overhead, look up. Bend your knees, fold forward and touch the floor. Take a halfway lift, fold and exhale. Please take a big step back with your left foot. Lower your left knee to the mat and pat if you need, either by rolling up the side of your mat or sliding a cushion under your knee. Find your knee, your ankle in one line and reach your arms overhead. Grab a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Lift your left wrist up to the ceiling, and as you sink a little deeper into your right knee, arc your upper body towards the right. Peel your chin away from your chest. Feel the back of your neck get a little longer. And in that space, lean your upper body away from your front thigh and then go a little deeper. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Exhale and lower your hands to frame your right foot. Take your left hand and walk it off the mat onto the floor beside you. Open your chest towards the right and reach your right arm to the sky. From right arm in the sky, reach your hand back in space out in front of you and up and overhead till you create these large circles. A movement of the arm bone into the shoulder socket. Take 3 more big circles just like that. And with your final cycle, keep your arm over your head, palm facing down. From the center of your chest, from the space under your left armpit, turn your body a little deeper towards the right. Lower your hands to either side of the right foot. Hover your left knee and step your left foot forward to meet your right, top of your mat. Take a halfway lift and inhale, bow and exhale. Please find your big toes with your peace fingers, so your index and your middle finger. Hook them around your big toes, bend your knees lots, bend your elbows towards the long edges of your mat, and feel your stomach melt towards your thigh bones. As though your breath was this cascading waterfall that started at the bottom of your spine and traveled all the way down towards your head. Let the breath soften your body down towards your legs. Keep the elbows wide, and from your upper inner thigh, start to work your legs to straight. Release the bind of your toes, fingertips to the earth, this time taking a big step back with the right leg. Land your right knee to the earth, rise on up, low lunge, arms overhead. Reach for the right wrist, lengthen your wrist up to the ceiling, and then arc your body towards the left. The left side of the body is the side of lunar energy, of creative expansion, of emotions, empathy, willpower. So sink a little deeper into that side. As much as you sink into your posture, lean your head back, trust that your foundation holds your upper body, and as you lean slightly back, take your body deeper to the left. Come back to a neutral spine, inhale. Exhale, hands to either side of the left foot. This time the right hand walks wide off of the mat. Lift your left arm to the sky and turn your entire body towards the right. Right arm reaches out in front of you, or left arm rather reaches out in front of you, back in space and up and overhead, creating these large circles. Almost like the full circumference of the moon being drawn with your fingertips. Take 2 more big circles like that. And in your final cycle, arm stays in line with cheek, palm faces down. From the right side of your belly, turn a little deeper to the left. Slowly unravel, bring your hands to either side of the left foot. Tuck your back toes under, lift your right knee, and step your left foot back to meet your right in downward facing dog. Pedal out the heels, sway your hips, nod your head, yes and no. Listen carefully here. Walk your hands towards your feet so that you're at the very back of your mat. Good. Once again, either holding opposite elbow or a few fingertips to the mat, really let your upper body drape. Press down through your feet, root to rise, reach your arms overhead, palms stretch, up, look up, maybe a little back bend at the top. As you exhale, fold right over your legs. Bring your fingertips to the mat, and this time walk yourself forward with your hands to a high plank, so the top of a push-up. Your thumb, your index finger, that L shape, push the floor away from you, really lifting the space around your shoulder blades. Keep the back body bright, lower onto your knees. Hug your elbows nice and close towards your rib cage and lower down chest and chin. Untuck your toes, stretch your chest forward to a baby cobra. Exhale and lower back to the mat. Thinking of finding length rather than height, push down into your feet, slide your chest plate up. Exhale, come back to the floor. Last one here, inhale, lift up. Exhale and press back to child's pose. In your child's pose, bring your palms to touch like a prayer position and send your wrists to the back of your neck. Start to walk your elbows more forward and then let your sitting bones root more earthward. Elongating the space from hip to armpit. Breathe into that added space that you've created. Space to ground, space to observe, and space to accept. Land your hands to the mat and make your way into downward facing dog once again. Reach your right leg straight up to the sky. Bend your right knee and make big circles with your right knee. This ball and socket joint of femur bone into hip loves this sort of circular movement. Start to move your circles in the opposite direction. Step your right foot through to meet your right thumb. Keep your back knee lifted and reach your arms overhead for a high crescent lunge. As you sink into your right knee, think of tracking your knee, your ankle in one line. And then with your back foot, lift your heel nice and high over your toes. Option 1, you stay here, arms wide. Option 2, you bring your palms to touch overhead. And final variation here, gaze up towards your thumbs. How is the breath? How can you make the breath more soft and more fluid? Take a deep inhale here. And as you exhale, lower your hands to either side of the right foot. Walk your right foot more to center. Keep your fingertips just in front of your foot. And as you press into your right foot, float your left leg straight up to the sky for standing splits. From the crease of the left hip, scoop down. And from your upper inner thigh, lift your leg higher. Keep that and push into your right foot. Steady inhales through the nose. Steady exhales through the nose. Take a big step back with your left foot, a big step back with your right foot, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up and back. Bend at your knee, stack your hip open, and make circles into your hip socket. Good. Move the circles in the opposite way. Can be as large or as small as you like. Quietly step your left foot through to meet your left thumb. And as you land your foot, keep the back knee lifted, find high crescent lunge. Option 1, you stay here, arms wide. Option 2, hands touch. Final variation, look up. Notice what happens when you sink just a little bit deeper into the left knee. Knowing that the sensations you're experiencing are temporary, can you sit with the sensations? Stay for the inhale. Exhale, hands to either side of the left foot. Walk left foot more to center. Tent up onto your fingertips or hands flat. Float the right leg straight up and back. As you look between your legs, can you see that your right toes are pointing down to the earth? And from your upper inner thigh, from the inner arch of your right foot, lift a little higher. Keep that and then push into your left foot. Step your right foot beside your left. Hands to your hips. Elbows to the ceiling, and as you inhale, rise up with a nice flat back.
Release your arms by your sides, leave your hair, leave your clothes, and stand as you are. Stilling the physical body as we attempt to still the fleeting mind. Please take a turn to the long edge of your mat. I'm turning to my right. And take a big step out with both your feet. With your feet nice and wide, at least as wide and in line with your wrists, point your right toes to face the short edge of your mat. Spin the left heel slightly out, let the toes point in. What this does is create more space through the hip flexor. Keep that and sink a little deeper into your right knee. Take your left arm and sweep it under your right, like eagle arms. Press down into your right foot. Lift your fingertips away from you and lean your upper body back any amount. Stay for the inhale. As you exhale, fold forward any amount, either resting your right shoulder onto your thigh or to the inside of your leg. Humble warrior. It's a symbol of bowing to the teachers before you, the ones that pull you out of that state of unconsciousness. And most importantly is to bow to the internal teacher, the internal guidance, your higher self. Push down through both your feet, rise on up. Unravel your arms, warrior two. Please straighten your right leg. Walk your left foot in once or twice, just shortening the stance. And as you squeeze right knee into thigh, send your right hip crease back in space. Reach forward with your right hand. Take your right hand to your shin, your left arm to the sky. Now, rather than going for the depth and really crunching up the right side of your body, bring your hand a little higher and work to spiral the chest more forward. You stay here or you reach your left arm overhead, palm faces down. Get long from hip to armpit. Rise with the inhale, hands to your hips. Point your right toes, face the long edge of your mat. Left toes turn to face the short edge. This time, drag your right heel slightly out and sink into your left knee. Bring your arms wide. With the same vigor you use reaching forward with the left fingertips, keep reaching back with the right. This time, scoop your right arm under your left. Eagle arms. Take an inhale, lift your chest, lift your heart, look up. Exhale and fold forward. Knowing that these strong pillars, these columns, your legs hold you and support you, can you even more let your upper back soften? Push down through your feet, rise to stand. Unravel the arms, warrior two. Straightening into the left leg this time. Heel toe your right foot in once or twice. Send your left hip crease back in space. Reach forward with the left hand to your shin this time, right arm to the sky. And from the space under your left armpit, turn your chest up, lean your ears, your skull back. Staying here, reaching that right arm up and overhead. And as much as you reach away from you with the right hand, use that back foot, your right heel, to push down into the earth. Let the breath soften. Rise with your inhale, hands to hips. This time, bring your feet a little bit closer. Still a wide stance, but slightly shorter than your warrior sequence. Bring your toes in, or rather your heels in and your toes out. Take your hands to your thighs and sit into a goddess squat. With your hands on your thighs, peel your shoulders down and away from your ears, and tilt your pelvis, your tailbone, down towards the earth. Soft gaze or eyes closed. Draw your right shoulder forward and down, look back to your left. Left shoulder forward and down, look back to your right. One more each side. Right shoulder comes forward, look back to the left. Left shoulder comes forward, look back to the right. Coming back to center, stay in your squat, sink a little deeper. The hips are the area in the body where we are set to hold our stories, the dialogues of our life, which is okay until we get lost in that chatter of the dialogues and we really start to associate our identity around them. So can we just start to dissolve those stories as they don't make who we are? They're just part of the experience. Push down through your feet. This time feet are parallel. If you know that you have quite tight hamstrings, then point your toes slightly in. Hands to your hips, elbows squeeze toward one another. Bend your knees and fold forward for a wide-legged forward fold. You can bring your hands to the floor under your shoulders. You can reach for your big toes, the outer edges of your feet. If your shoulders still need a little love, sweep the arms behind you and clasp your hands at your lower back. Take a moment to acknowledge that you are in an inversion. The heart is over the head, and the nervous system is trying to regulate. So instead of working against the nervous system, work with it and start to breathe with more texture. This will stimulate what's called the rest and digest, the parasympathetic nervous system. Everybody bend your knees more, and from your upper inner thighs, lift your tailbone to the sky. Good. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, onto the floor. Take a halfway lift, inhale, fold, and exhale. Bring your hands to your hips, point your elbows to the ceiling, and rise up nice and slow. Pause at the very top and just allow the sensations to settle. Please step your right foot to meet your left and turn to face the top of your mat. As you inhale, reach the arms overhead, look up. Fold and exhale, touch the earth. Take a halfway lift, inhale, bow, and exhale. Plant your hands to the mat, step back to a high plank. Lower down knees, lower down chest and chin. Untuck your toes, stretch your chest forward to a cobra. And as you exhale, lower all the way to your stomach. Bring your arms by your sides. Rest your left ear on the mat and look to the right. Surrendering your entire physical self to the floor below you. Part of the foundation teaching of yoga is to find a balance between effort and easefulness. Please bring your chin back to center. Zip your legs to touch with your toenails pushing into the floor. Take your hands just under your shoulders. As you push your toenails into the floor, feel your knees, your thighs lift off the mat. Keep that strength through your legs. Slide your heart forward and up. Now, rather than cranking the back of your neck, keep looking down. Keep the length through the neck. Option to hover your hands off the floor. Using just the strength of your back to once again strengthen the spine. Exhale and lower down completely, arms by your sides. This time right ear to the mat, looking to the left. Resting and recovering, balancing effort with ease. This time, zip your legs to touch so that your inner thighs, your inner arches are glued together. Keep your arms as they are. Fingertips can graze your thighs and palms face the sky. Please bring your chin to center. As you inhale, lift your chest off the mat. Lift your arms to the height of your shoulders. Push down to your pelvis, lift your toes, lift your shins, lift your thighs. Now you stay here or you clasp your hands at your lower back, Shalabhasana. Use the breath that fills your lower ribs to lift your heart higher. Release and rest. Bending your knees, lift your heels to the sky. and sway your heels from side to side. Keeping your feet in the sky, reach for the outer edges of your feet or your outer ankles. Zip your thighs together. Now bend your elbows and feel your shoulders shrug onto your back. Keep that shrugging action, lift your heart, press into your feet. Bow pose, Dhanurasana. This is a huge detoxifying shape here. Exhale and release.
In the yogic practice, the sun or the ha is associated with our inhale, the uprising, the pulling in of pranic energy. And the ha, or sorry, the tha, the moon, or the masculine, is associated with the downward, the removing of stagnant energy, also known as the apana prana. So once again, bend your knees, reach for the outer edges of your feet. Scoop your shoulders onto your back, lift your heart, and press into your feet. This huge detoxifying shape. This huge moving of clearing and stagnant energy out of the body. Release the bind of your feet and rest. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Press into your hands to make your way onto your forearms. Forearms can be parallel completely, or for some of our body shapes, some of our bone structures, we like the hands slightly out. So just tune into what feels right in your body. Bring your chin in towards your chest and tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder. Opening through the left side of the neck, the traps. Area in the body where we hold new tensions, new stresses. We allow them to melt away. Bring your chin back to center. Left ear towards left shoulder. Chin back to center. Press into your hands. Then push back to child's pose. This time, bring a little bit of added attention to your fingertips and use your fingertips for traction as you push the mat away from you. Get a little longer through the back body. Your next inhale, come to a tabletop position. Okay. So keeping your left hip and your left knee as it is in your tabletop position, step your left foot onto the floor beside you like a kickstand. Yeah? Keep your left hand under your shoulder. Step your right foot back. Bring your right hand to your hip. Good. Further from here, from the inner arch of your right foot, lift your leg. Further from here, reach your right arm to the sky. All right, if you're still with me, bend your right knee and reach for the outer edge of your right foot with your right hand. Almost like dancer's pose with just a little bit more grounding, more stability. Push your right foot into your hand, scoop your right shoulder onto your back, and with a soft bend into your left elbow, open your chest up to the sky. Lean your ears back, open through the throat. We'll break it down with the same amount of stability we used to get in. Reach your right arm up, extend your right leg out. Lower your right hand, lower your right knee. Step your left foot back onto your mat and take a few cycles of cat and cow. Just neutralizing the spine. Good. Setting up on the opposite side, create your kickstand with your right foot. Right palm under shoulder, step your left foot back, take your left hand to your hip. Notice if your shoulders are shrugging towards your ears and let them melt down the back. Further from here, hover your left leg. Further from here, hover your left arm.
Stay here or bend your back knee and reach for your left foot with your left hand. As much as you push your foot into your hand, feel your shoulders traction down your back and use that space to lift your sternum, that flat bone in your chest. Good, release the foot, left arm to the sky, left leg out straight. Step your left foot down, left hand under your shoulder, left knee under your hip, step the right foot back in, and take a few cycles of cat and cow. As you're ready, tuck your toes under and find downward facing dog. Reach your right leg straight up to the sky, bend at your knee, and bring your right knee to your outer right wrist so that you can land your shin at an angle. Slide your left thigh back and then take a look over your left shoulder. Are your hip, your knee, your ankle in one line, or can you slide the left foot in slightly? Keeping that foundation, that alignment, slowly melt forward for pigeon pose. Breathe into the corner of your right hip. As the skin that blankets that experience can start to soften. As the ligaments, the joints, the tendons peel away from one another. As our densest group of tissues, our muscles, soften away from bone. Releasing all tension, all stories. Couple more breaths here. From forearms, make your way up onto your palms. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee, and reach your right leg up and back. Once again, bend your knee, stack the hip open, and find some freedom through the front of your right hip. Good, lower the right foot beside your left. Left leg to the sky, bend your knees, stack your hip, and then land the left knee to the outside of the left wrist. Once again, check in with your back leg, slide the knee in, the ankle in, and then slowly humble yourself forward. Take a moment to acknowledge any tension that you may be holding through your face. Let the jaw soften, allowing the tongue to peel away from the teeth. Let the skin around your eyelids, the skin along your forehead become crease-free. Find your way from forearms to hands. Back toes tuck under, hover your right knee, and sweep your left leg up and back, stacking your hip open. Please step your left foot beside your right. Now, if you've practiced with me before, you've probably done this before. If you haven't, just bear with me, bring your feet close to one another. Look forward. Bend your knees and listen carefully. Hop to a yogi squat, hop to malasana. With the same amount of vigor that you use to press your inner thighs out, squeeze your inner thighs back into your elbows so that you feel some hugging at your outer hips.
This once again engages the musculature of your body. Keep that and lift your spine a little taller. Doesn't have to be pretty. We're going to roll on our seats. Extend the legs out in front of you. With your legs extended out in front of you, widen your legs. Bring your hands behind your hips for a moment. Tilt your pelvis forward, and then start by walking your hands forward. With hands walking forward, start to point your toes up toward the ceiling. Maybe you stay here, maybe you go just a little bit deeper. Once again, walk your hands slowly up towards your body. Bend your right knee and bring your right foot to the inside of your left leg, with your left leg still sort of out at an angle. Take your left hand beside your hip, tap onto your fingertips, so spider fingers. Reach your right arm up to the sky and reach for the outer edge of your left leg. So that can mean outer calf, outer ankle, outside of your foot. And then guide your gaze to the space under your left armpit. These subtle twists work to move like a towel that you're wringing out. And it moves anything from our physical body, from our energetic body, from our mental body, anything that no longer serves us. So in this time when we're working to reharmonize the elements, what are you letting go of? What are you moving out of your systems? Slowly come back to center. Keep your legs as they are. This time take your right hand and bring it behind your hips with your fingertips facing away from you. Shift your weight onto your right shin, pick up your hips, push down into the left big toe and reach back with the left hand. So that as much as you reach your left hand away from you, your big toe is pushing down and earthward. And slowly lower back to the earth. And switch sides, left foot to the inside of the right thigh. This time, right fingertips tent up beside you. Reach the left arm high and take your twist to the outer edge of the right leg, looking under the right armpit. And can you use the ebb and flow of your breath here? Knowing that each inhale assists our pranic body, our vital energy. And each exhale, clearing out any stagnant energy, making space for the new. Coming back to center. Take the left fingertips, place them behind your hips. Shift your weight onto your left shin, pick up your hips. Right big toe pushes down, left arm reaches, or right arm reaches back in space. Slowly lower down. And bring the soles of your feet to touch your knees out wide. Now at this point in the practice, if you still want something that's quite fiery in the hips, bring your heels nice and close to your seat. If at this time you want something that's just a little bit more rejuvenating, a little bit more restorative, bring the heels away from you. Wherever you are, shake out your thighs. With your next inhale and breath, lift your spine taller. As you exhale, press your thighs to the earth and fold over your legs any amount. Butterfly pose. Baddha Konasana.
Breathing into front body, into side body, into back body. Slowly make your way upright. Gather your legs toward one another. Keeping your knees bent, slowly lower onto your back. Once you've made your way onto your back, I'd like to take you through another outer hip stretch. However, if this is too intense, then please take the figure 4 shape of thread the needle. Otherwise, stack your right thigh over your left, like half eagle legs. Float your feet off the mat and reach in for your opposite foot. So left hand reaches for right foot, right hand reaches for left foot. We're not crossing the arms, we're just crossing the legs. Now there's a few actions going on here. One is you're pulling your feet in opposite directions. The second is you're pressing your knees to your chest. The third is that your tailbone is rooting down towards the floor. Once again, if this is too intense, then please take thread the needle. Slowly uncross your legs, plant your feet to the mat, then sway your knees from side to side. Setting up on the opposite side, left thigh crosses over right. Lift your feet, send them in opposite directions. Now, whether you're in thread the needle or you're in this shape, Supta Gomukhasana, feel the entire back of your skull get heavy. Feel your shoulders melt into the mat. With each breath here, your pelvis, your hips let go. Even more, feel your pelvis, your hips let go. Release the bind of your legs. Place your feet to the earth and sway your knees from side to side. This time, draw your right knee into your armpit, your outer right ribs, and extend your left leg onto the floor in front of you. Take an honest, big belly breath here. And as you exhale, press out any stagnance from the bottom of your right lung. Reach your right arm out beside you in line with your shoulder. Using the help of your left hand, guide your right knee to the left till you roll onto your outer left hip. You can look over your right shoulder, or you can close your eyes. Rolling onto your back, hug your right knee into your chest, and at the center of your chest, round your forehead towards your kneecap. Breathing into back body, side body, front body. Lower down, head, shoulders, right leg. Left knee nice and close to your armpit. Take a big breath in, and an audible sigh, let it out. Reach the left arm out beside you. Use your right palm and gather the left knee across. Rolling onto your back. Draw your left knee into the center of your chest towards your heart, around your forehead to your kneecap. Lower down, head, shoulders, left leg. This time, both legs lift into the sky. Find the outer edges of your feet or your outer ankles and take happy baby. Swaying your lower back from side to side. Stay here, work one leg to straight at a time. Stay here, work both legs to straight. Release the bind of your feet, but keep your legs, your arms in the sky, and start to shake. Fingertips, wrists, ankles, flutter your lips. Shaking, 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 moving your prana, your energy, your life force. So this capacity that we have to let it go, to shake out of our system, move. This capacity that we have to create, to manifest, move into existence. In traditional practice, we do this for 10 minutes, but I do not have 10 minutes to do this. So really shake it out. And then release to your resting place of Shavasana.
Take up the space that you need. Grab any props that you need.
You have done the work, so give yourself this time to rest.
It is the time when lunar energy is most powerful. And in the power of this lunar energy, we can start to work on self. We can start to unravel what's being stuck in the subconscious mind. Any patterns, any emotions, any experiences. And in that unraveling, we can become a little bit more aware and a little bit more clear of our higher self. When the sun sets is when the body produces melatonin. So invite a deeper breath to sustain a richer sleep this evening. If there's any remaining tension in your body, melt it down your legs, down through the soles of your feet, and release it back to the earth. So that wherever you've landed, you can let go. What are you gripping to? Let it go. Even more, letting go. Begin to drink in your breath. For a moment here, allow your body to remain heavy. Apart your lips and feel the sweet texture of your breath as it swirls along the roof of your mouth. A reminder of this element of the water, of purification, of emotions, of empathy, of power. Bring some gentle movements into your hands and into your feet. Sway the back of your skull from side to side along the earth. Reach your arms overhead, point your toes forward, take a long stretch in both directions. Bending your knees, place your feet to the floor and roll onto your right side. Taking a moment here for yourself. With the loving help of your hands, come to find a comfortable seat. Now, before we end practice, I'd like to do a little, I think it's typically a Kundalini style practice, but it's a practice done by my teacher in India. And it's to stimulate the thymus gland, which is a gland that sits just along the chest plate, along just under the collarbone. And when we're small, when we're children, the gland is quite large, but as we age, it starts to shrink. And the importance of this gland is that it assists our immune system. So in this time when we need to really help our bodies with what we put into it, let's also focus on what's already there and how we can strengthen what's there. So the practice looks a little bit like this. You're going to take what I call the heel of the palm, so the very edge of your hand, and you're going to press it against the chest till it creates that little bit of like a clapping sound. So you're going to bring your arms wide. When your right hand meets the chest, you're going to open your chest to the left and vice versa. Left hand to the chest, open to the right. So let's do this all together. Big breath in, arms wide. Exhale and twist. A little bit more firmer, a little bit sharper breath. Moving just at the rib cage. For 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, last one. Keep your arms wide, take a big breath in. Exhale and rest your hands back to your lap, how we arrived in the practice. I want to thank you for taking this time out of your day to move, to breathe, to reconnect. And have a lovely rest of your evening. Namaste. As always, any questions, any comments, you can always let me know. Any complaints, you can let Shelly know.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
That was really great.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
You're so welcome. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Nice, Aaliya.
Thank you. See you Friday.
See you
You have a
Friday.
Beautiful smile.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.